Okay, I'd like to call to order today our city council meeting, Tuesday, January 4th, 2022. It's 5:30 p.m. And ask the mayor to lead us in an invocation and a pledge of allegiance.
Got it. You stand with me. Lord, thank you once again for a beautiful day. We're truly blessed to live in the city of Sebring. We ask that you watch over all our residents, all our staff, and everyone that's affected by anything in our market and the world. We ask that you watch over the council tonight and guide them in making sound and right decisions, and we do all we do in your name. Amen.
Amen.
Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, thank you, Mayor. Kathy, if you would call the roll, please.
Mayor Shute.
Here.
Bishop.
Here.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Detman. Stewart.
Here.
Lawrence.
Here. Okay, I'd like to announce business from the audience procedure. If you have an item that is not on the agenda and you would like to speak in front of council, if you will see Miss Kathy Haley, she will give you the proper form to fill out, and then towards the end of the meeting, we'll entertain whatever it is you have to say to us and go from there. So thank you. Mayor's report.
A few things. New Year's Eve event, thanks to Tommy Brandt and his son. I don't know if any of you all went down there and saw it. So we appreciate him putting on a family event for New Year's Eve. On the 17th of this month is Martin Luther King Day. We are again honoring Dr. King, and Ada McGowan is organizing the parade on the 17th. If you would like to be in the parade, the lineup's at 11 o'clock and the march is at 12 o'clock. So at the Methodist Church, correct, still? So, and then the last order of business I have is a recommendation for the appointment of a finance director. Per our charter, the department heads are appointed by the mayor and with the advice of the consent of the council. We went through the Clerk Haley, Councilman Lawrence, and Councilman Bishop. We all met and went through a couple of resumes and came up with a pretty good candidate, we hope. Right, Omar? So I am, you've got his resume in the packet. A background check has been done, and reference checks were satisfactory. The salary that's being offered and accepted by Mr. DeJesus is $91,000. So I am requesting that recommending to and approving an appointment of Juan Omar DeJesus to the finance director position as presented at the above recommended salary.
Thank you, Mayor. I'd like to, any questions from council members? Any questions or comments from the public? Okay, request a motion.
I make a motion we approve Juan Omar de Jesus to the finance director position as presented at the above recommended salary.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any further comments? That being said, Kathy, could you call the roll, please?
Bishop.
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes.
And I'd like to
Congratulations.
make a comment.
Yes, sir.
If you all haven't met Omar DeJesus, he is in the white shirt sitting in the middle there. So.
Come on
Welcome
up
to
and
the
introduce
city.
yourself if you want to, Omar.
So good evening. I appreciate the opportunity. I'm excited to get to work. I'm sure you guys are happy to have me as well, and it's lucky for me to get started as quick as possible. I look forward to working with you guys. It's good to be back in a council meeting where you see familiar faces and friends in both the council chairs and in the audience. So looking forward to coming back to Sebring and getting to work.
When's the start date?
Start date is as soon as my employer lets me go. I'll be back. So
Okay, good.
All right.
Well, we
Keep it
appreciate
going.
it.
Thank
Thanks
you.
so much.
Congratulations.
thank you.
Thanks.
That's all I have.
Okay. Council members' concerns, comments, liaison reports. Mr. Carlisle?
None.
Mr. Stewart?
No report.
Mr. Bishop? Yes, sir. Okay. I have a couple things. The first one I would like to, as liaison to the fire department, just congratulate our new lieutenant. You all probably saw this in the newspaper, but Rachel Schmidt is our new and first female lieutenant on the fire department. So I'd just like to say congratulations to her. And also with her promotion, Keegan Albritton got promoted to senior engineer. So very good, and congratulations to the two of them. And you know, it's really nice to have some firsts. And even though we're a small town and we're certainly not the first female lieutenant in the country or anything like that, it is the first one here. So congratulations to her.
Absolutely.
I also want to just say, sometimes I get a little frustrated because government seems to move so slow. And being an ex-fireman, retired fireman, I'm used to doing things a little faster. But that being said, a couple of the things that we did last year, I just want to go over. And though we seem to move slow, we do get things done. So a few of the things was, last year we annexed some properties along US 27 and grew our city. And as a result, our fire department and our police department both grew ever so slightly to service those areas as well. We also came up with collective bargaining agreements for the fire department and the police department. And I think we got those guys a little closer to a reasonable living wage. In addition to that, we were also able to give our general employees a cost of living raise last year of about 4%. And as things are going up, I think it's very important that we do pay and compensate our employees fairly. So these are a couple of the things that we did get done last year. This next year, I would like to see a couple things that we've had on the, I'm going to call it kind of back burners for a while, but the first one is the CRA waterfront project. And we talked about that last year, and we had a lot of meetings on it. The public had a lot of input, but I would like to see us move forward in 2022 on that project, as well as our half-round building that we've been talking about now for maybe 2 or 3 years as a city administration building. Hopefully we can move forward in 2022 on that project as well. We move slow, and sometimes that's good. Other times it's a little frustrating. But these are some things that I would encourage my fellow council members as well as the public and our staff to get behind and see if we can't move along a little bit. So that being said, I'm going to just say for this year, I think it's let's go Sebring. And see if we can't get some things done. Thank you. Okay. Consent agenda.
I make a motion we accept the consent agenda as presented.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second to accept the consent agenda as presented. Is there any comments from the public in regards to the consent agenda? Any comments or questions from council? No. Okay, Kathy, would you call the roll, please?
Bishop.
Yes.
Powell.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes. Okay, consent agenda has been approved. We now go down to the old business. We have none. New business, Sebring Soda Festival. Ms. Tennille Drury-Smith, if you would come up, please.
Good evening.
Good evening, welcome.
It's a pleasure to be back here again. This will be our 4th annual Soda Festival. And as you may notice that we have added a 3rd day. These were plans made prior to COVID, and we weren't able to do it last year with everything, with the uncertainty. But as you all know, we had a great year. We had 6,000 attendees this past year, and we're hoping that this year we're going to get back to pre-COVID numbers of about 10,000 people, maybe more. We're hoping. But adding that 3rd day will also help stretch that out. We are going to go forward with having our block party concert on Saturday evening. This was planned. It's been this entertainer has postponed this 2 times now, so we're happy to have them this year. And then we're also going to be adding a pageant on Sunday afternoon. So that will be a fun family activity as well. So we'll have tastings all 3 days. It will start Friday night at 5 p.m. and go to 9 p.m. and then we'll be all day Saturday. With 11 a.m. to 5 p.m. with the festival on Saturday, and then 5 to 9 p.m. with the concert. And then Sunday will be from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. So we'll be rounding out everything then. So we appreciate the support of the city, and we couldn't do it without you. And I appreciate your consideration with what we have put forward today.
Very good. Thank you. Any questions from council members?
Appreciate you working so hard, Tennille.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great event, and I'm for it.
Thank you.
Mr. Bishop? No. Any comments or questions from the public? I also think that these events are a great thing for the city. It gets people down to the circle, to the, what I call the heart of Sebring. So I think it's a great thing, and we appreciate you doing it.
I appreciate it. And I don't know if last year I brought this in my report, but it's usually something that I bring up to the TDC. But we have roughly 30 to 40% of out-of-town attendees every year. And of course, we're always looking to increase that. It is a great local, for our local community, but as well as bringing people here. So we're looking forward to continuing to grow it.
Cool. Great. Okay. Request a motion.
I make a motion we approve the event as presented, conditioned upon the Chamber of Commerce providing liability insurance of at least $1 million with the city named as the additional insured.
I'll second that.
Okay. Have a motion and a second. Any further questions or comments from council members? That includes you too, Paul. Okay.
Good job.
Thank you.
Any comments or questions from the public? No, come on up and tell us who you are and tell us what you have to say.
I just had a question for her.
Sure.
Sherry Daniels, just wanted to know who was the entertainer.
It's actually it's a band. It's a Jimmy Buffett cover band called Bluff It. So it's a big band coming. I think they're coming from Orlando. So, yep.
Jimmy Bluffett.
Jimmy Bluffett.
Awesome.
Yes.
That's awesome.
Yeah. Should
Okay,
be
any
fun.
other
Okay, that's
questions
gonna
or
be fun.
comments?
I did not choose this, but it should be fun.
All right, Kathy, would you call for a vote, please?
Bishop.
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes. Oh, okay.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Oh, yeah, okay, all right. Okay, 10B, use of circle for prayer and worship, Mr. Dan Andrews.
Thanks. Good evening. For the record, my name is Dan Andrews. I'm here today in my capacity as chairman of our guide team for First United Methodist Church of Sebring. And in 2021, we really renewed our focus on community outreach. And through a partnership with the United Way, we were able to distribute 8,000 meals out into the community. And as we grow our outreach, our team came up with the idea of, church is much more than just those four walls, and reaching out into the community and trying to spread the word. So we've partnered with Assembly Church here in town, and we'd like to present a night of worship and prayer on the city circle. And we're asking for permission to use the circle and the city stage on January 28th from 6 to 8 p.m. It's a Friday evening.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from council members?
Sounds good. We need more of it.
Amen.
Mr. Bishop? Any comments or questions from public?
I make a motion, we approve the use of the city and the city stage as presented, conditioned upon providing liability insurance, naming the city as an additional insurer.
Okay, could I just maybe make a little comment here on the $1 million for the
Okay.
city? If you could add that to your
Yeah, I
motion.
think that's a standard.
It is, but
$1 million.
we also kind of have to say it each time.
Okay, $1 million.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, have a motion and a second. Any further comments from the public? Further questions or comments from council members? No. I think it's great that you're doing it also.
Thank you.
So, love to see things like this.
Yep.
More activity, and especially in the evenings and nighttime that we get downtown. I think it's gonna be great, and we're having some new businesses coming in, hopefully pretty soon.
Yeah.
So that'll be good for them also. So thank you. Kathy, would you call the roll, please?
Bishop.
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes.
Hey, the worship, is it just from the church, the two churches?
the worship teams
Okay,
will
from
be
both
the
churches.
presentation of the music and stuff will be by our praise and worship team as well as First Assembly.
Okay.
But it's an open community
Right,
event.
right.
Yep. I'd also like to
Yes, sir.
commend the Sebring Police Department. They've really stepped up and helped us in the food distribution that we do the first and third Saturday of each month. We're kind of running into traffic bottleneck with cars backed up all the way to the circle. And they've really stepped up and helped us learn how to funnel traffic properly and wrap it around the building and down some of the side streets as to not impact the circle. But they've been a tremendous help with that, and it's a great community event. So thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move along to our public hearings. We have 4 of them tonight, it looks like, which is less than we've had lately. So, 10C, we're going to enter into a public hearing. This is for the city property disposition, 333 Pomegranate Avenue, Sebring Recreational Club. The purpose of the public hearing pursuant to section 163-384 statutes and other applicable law, council will receive input on the city's proposed disposal of the real property located at 333 Pomegranate Avenue, Sebring, Florida, for less than market value. So we have a renewal lease, and I'm sure everybody's probably had a chance to go over it a little bit. It's Penny, would you like to say anything in regards to the lease?
It is a 10-year lease that was, council requested that we have the city attorney prepare.
Yeah. Okay, yeah, we did discuss this at our last council meeting, and it is for 10 years. So I'm gonna ask if there's any public input on this. Now's your chance to say. Nothing from the public. Any comments or council members' concerns?
No, sir.
No.
Pretty much what it has been.
It is, pretty much. It's, yeah, a little less time this time with the 10 years. So then I think our last one was a little longer than that, but, okay, we'll adjourn the public hearing. Okay. Like to, ask if there's, any action we would like to take in regards to the lease.
I move we accept the proposal, authorize the disposal of the property through the attached amendment to the original lease.
I second that. Okay. I have a motion and a second. Any further comments or questions from council members? Questions or comments from the general public? Okay, Kathy, call the roll, please.
Bishop,
Yes.
Carr,
Yes.
Stewart,
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes. Okay, we're going to enter our second public hearing, and this one is 10D, City Property Disposition, 442 South Eucalyptus Street, the Girl Scout House. The background purpose of the public hearing is pursuant to 163-384 statutes and other applicable law. Council will receive input on the city's proposed disposal of the real property located at 442 South Eucalyptus Street, Sebring, Florida, for less than market value. And Mr. Michael Borders, I believe?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
So on the 19th of October, I made a presentation to this group, which was accepted unanimously for the transfer of that property to the Florida Medal of Honor Memorial Incorporated. With that positive vote, and you know we did that adjustment from the property out by the Veteran Services Office because of our friends, the gopher tortoises that inhabit that property in great numbers. So since that time, we've made some significant adjustments, obviously, to our requirements. A smaller piece of property, but we again believe it will work exceptionally well, and we think having it in the downtown is the right place, a better place for it in any case. If you've been by there lately, you've noticed that the property has been staked off. So the actual property lines are indicated, but it's basically just a few feet outside the fence if you're looking from Commerce to the north. So that real huge tree just outside the fence down on the Commerce side is actually inside the property line, as an example. Of course, the parking lot to the north side of the piece of property is also, part of the parcel. And we know that that's arranged with the city and the county for them to use that. We will be making a similar arrangement with the county so that they'll be able to continue to use that parking lot. Randy Vosberg will have the county attorney prepare, pending obviously a positive vote tonight, an arrangement so that they can continue to use that. The Girl Scout house, I think I mentioned to you last time, our intent, at least on the design of the new building, which will be a museum and visitors and learning center, will look much like it because we'll use dark and light concrete block to pay homage to the Girl Scout house, and it'll also be a good match with the government building. We have taken a real good look at the inside of the Girl Scout house. We think there's a good chance that we're going to be able to recover some of the floor and or ceiling in the main gallery room that we would be able to use inside the new building. Again, that's primarily to pay homage to the Girl Scouts and the history that they have there. But the building would be cost prohibitive to fix, as you're well aware. Tear down of the improvements, which include the pavilion, the picnic pavilion there, runs somewhere in around $10,000. And since that time, we have found a gentleman in Frostproof who's a veteran is going to do that for us for free. So that'll save us that money against the $250,000 that the state of Florida has provided for us in a grant that will be deposited sometime at the beginning of April, according to the legislative staffer for Representative Tuck, who ran that action through the legislature. We'll be adding a 24th name. You may or may not have seen about 3 weeks ago, President Biden, in his role as Commander-in-Chief of the United States Armed Forces, presented 3 more Medals of Honor. One of those from the state of Florida, from up in the Sanford area, northeast of Orlando, Sergeant First Class Alwyn Cash, who died as a result of the injuries he received saving his men from a burning vehicle. He was soaked in gasoline and ran in and out of flames to pull his people out, and was burned over 70% of his body. So we'll be adding his name, and we know there will be more in the future. We also have made preliminary arrangements pending the effective date, assuming again a positive vote tonight, for insurance, because obviously that property is covered by government insurance now, but once we take possession and official title and deed, we will have to have liability insurance, because there will still be people walking across that property before we finish a build, before we start a build, before we tear down that building, and it would just take one litigious individual to make our lives a living hell. So we're going to have insurance go into effect. So I have a basic layout of the design I was able to show to the mayor and to Mr. Carlisle before the meeting, but essentially the base monument will go at the corner of Eucalyptus and Commerce, and the museum will be at the north end of the piece of property, and of course it'll be ADA compliant, both ramps and so forth outside, as well as the restroom that we will have on the inside. So I'm prepared to answer any questions, but we think we have a solid plan. We look forward to starting the tear down at the beginning of February, assuming, again, a positive vote this evening. I can entertain any questions.
Okay. Thank you, sir. Let me ask the public, is there anyone that would like to comment or any questions that they have for Mr. Borders?
Yeah, could I just add one thing?
Yes, sir.
We also have asked, and we've gotten free support on this. We're always looking for free things. But the head honcho at the college for the photography department, and she has come in, and we're going to have a chronology, a photo chronology of that site. So she's already taken pictures inside the Girl Scout house, outside the Girl Scout house, and around the property. We want to have a historical record of that for presentation to anyone that might be interested along the way. So,
Very good. Good. Okay, again, I'll ask for public comments or questions. Okay. Council members' comments?
I think it's the perfect place for what they're wanting to do instead of out off of George Boulevard.
Yep.
Yeah, I would agree. Being downtown fits. I'm grateful you guys are going for it.
Mr. Bishop?
No, I agree. It's a great thing.
There.
Yeah, I do have a question.
Yes,
Mike.
sir.
On, probably 3 or 4 years ago, they had a Girl Scout project that redid, the sidewalk was busted up, and they redid the signatures on a portion. Is there a way you can save that?
we're gonna
Attempt to.
try to cut that where the group, you know, where the, what do you call those, Don? I mean, I failed to introduce my group, but Raymond McIntyre is the vice chairman when he wears his other hat. Monty DeSella is publicity. Don Laycock is my construction guru, and he's a real construction guru. Judy is his able assistant, his wife. But yes, we're gonna make an attempt to cut each of those sections and provide those to the Girl Scouts. And we will work with anyone that wants any part of the current Girl Scout house. There's actually, I found a flag in there, the Girl Scout flag. We're gonna make sure they get that back. Somehow it was left behind. We found some certificates, there's some file cabinets in there, but we're gonna try to work with them. There is no time capsule where it says time capsule. The time capsule was removed some time ago. It's just an indicator of where it would have been in that sidewalk.
She's taking pictures and all of that too.
Yeah, and she took pictures of the sidewalk. She's, you know, film doesn't cost anything anymore, so she took a lot of snaps.
Yeah, the girls that did that, it was probably about 4 years ago. It was kind of like, I'm not saying the equivalent to an Eagle Scout project, but it was similar to that.
Mhm.
And they redid that with the signatures. They traced the signatures and then put them on again. So I didn't know if there's.
She put her name on there? Yeah.
We
Yeah.
were talking to the Carla, the
Carla.
professor from the university, and she's photographing that. We want to pressure wash it so we can really get some good pictures of it, and maybe work it into some kind of a collage or mural or something for the inside of the building.
Okay.
That it could be preserved that way. So I went over that with her. She was out there for 2 hours, and she'll be back several more times. She wants the sun to get just right, and then have the right light and stuff the other morning.
Very good. Kathy, anything you'd like to add? I know you were a Girl Scout over there.
I may have a certificate in that file, Ken, is all I'm saying.
We'll take a look. I actually found the keys to the file, you know, the ones, the little button you push, and I found the key and was able to get some of them open. All of them are now open.
I spent many a time on that little stage and stuff, just saying, it's, you know, a lot of memories.
Well,
thank
I
you.
will note that we have a broom down there. We would like you to come down and do some cleanup for us.
I'd be glad to.
Thank you.
I would imagine some of the Girl Scouts might like a little piece of one of the logs or something like that over there. So
I
I'm
would
glad
not
to hear that you would.
I would, if I were someone, I would not take a piece of any of that log into my house, because you're going to then have
Termites.
Okay.
in your house. Those logs are really in bad shape.
Yeah.
I think it's gonna be,
Yeah.
some of it's in good shape.
Well, we might go for the bricks then.
Possible.
All right. Well, thank you very much. No other comments or questions from the public? Okay, or council members? Okay, we'll adjourn the public hearing. Okay. Do we have any recommended actions?
I make a motion we accept the proposal authorizing disposal of the property and direct the city attorney to prepare any necessary paperwork regarding the disposal.
Okay.
I'll second that.
Have a motion and a second. Any further comments from the public? Any comments or questions from council members? Kathy, would you call for a vote, please?
Bishop,
Yes.
Carl,
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes. Thank you very much for taking on this project.
Thank you.
Okay, that moves us up to, D, 10E, public hearing. City property disposition, 759 Lemon Avenue. We'll enter into that public hearing. Purpose of the public hearing pursuant to section 163, 380 Florida statutes and other applicable law. Council will receive input on the city's proposed disposal of the real property located at 759 Lemon Avenue, Sebring, Florida, for less than market value. We have several proposals. Penny, would you like to go over them just real quick, and then we'll have them present them themselves, if you'd like.
Yes, sir. There's two proposals in your packet, one from Washington Heights Community Action Network, We Can, and another from Highlands County Citizens with Voices. And I believe representatives from both organizations are here if you would like for them to present. One of them actually is proposing a community garden project. That's the We Can Community Garden proposal, and the other organization is proposing a Veterans Memorial Site.
Okay, very good. All right, so let me ask if there's a representative from the We Can Community Garden proposal, if you'd like to come up and tell us a little bit about what your idea with this property is, that would be great. And then we can get any comments from the public in regards to it.
Sorry. Hi, my name is Megan Toney. I'm the Vice President of We Can. We have a proposal for a community garden project for 759 Lemon. Our hope with We Can is to bring positive change to the business district of Washington Heights. The focus of the community garden is not just a garden, it's about community. So we would like to see another reason for people to come to Lemon Avenue to engage in that business district that's positive. A place where families can come, work together to grow fresh produce for their families, as well as build a strong sense of community with others and bring a much needed positive area to that district of Washington Heights. Mr. Shannon has already built a beautiful outdoor area, and this garden would be located right across the street from that. And we would hope that it would be a focal point for the community, not only just for people to visit, but for them to be invested in and them to be able to work together to produce something that not just they are able to enjoy, but the community at large. We have several partners that you have in your packets. So we've worked out funding. We have different people that have agreed to clear the land for us. We also have the hopes of doing a mural on our fence that borders it with a spotlight on community heroes, just to allow people to continue to have pride and represent those that have done so much for the community. And everything else is in the packet there, so if you have any other questions.
Okay, very good. Okay, let me ask from the public first if you have any questions or comments. Now's your time. We've got the expert on the project here. So, how about council members? Any comments or questions?
Well, I'd just like to comment that I love this idea. I think it's wonderful. I can't think of a better use of that property. I also appreciate your partners, specifically the Boys and Girls Club and the Eat Well Exchange. So yeah, I'm a believer in this project.
Thank you.
Mr. Bishop, anything? No? I think it's kind of neat too. I was over there to see Mr. Shannon's little park there. I think is a great thing. The street's really starting to look up a little. So I think this is a great project also.
And that's our hope, just to bring, if we can bring in more positive environments there and a more community feel to that area, to invite families to work together and play together and live together in that area, then that will help reduce the crime and the violence. Not right away, of course, but eventually the more positive we have move in, it will push that negative out.
Yeah.
So that's our hope.
It's my understanding that you want to lease the property, is that correct?
We would like to lease it, and I know we had discussed purchase, different things like that, but I think this is what we had come up with that we were able to do at the time, so.
Okay, and then I guess I have one question, and that is gonna be on the insurance. If you're leasing the property, we cover the insurance.
We'll have to discuss whatever that is, but we will take care of that, yes.
Okay, that's my question. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, let me go on to the second group here that's got a proposal for the same property. So, I guess that's Highlands County Citizens with Voices Incorporated and Ada McGowan. If you'd like to come up and tell us about your thoughts.
Good evening. I'm Ada McGowan. I am the President and CEO of the Highlands County Citizens with Voices. That's a nonprofit organization we've been in effect over 9 years. First, I'd like to say I've lived in Sebring over 45 years. So I'm a resident of the Washington Heights area. And I've seen it go from great to, let's just say, not so great. And I do know right now that Washington Heights is in need of a revival. The gun violence in Washington Heights is a serious threat to the residents of our community, not only in the Washington Heights, but actually all over our county, all over our nation. There's an urgent need for activities that might possibly curtail this violence. While our CRA has a major focus on economic opportunities, recruiting a professional workforce, and housing and leisure for that workforce, some of us are still working on safety and staying alive, food and water, and decent affordable housing. Having a Veterans Memorial Site in our community would allow us to at least quarterly have activities whereby the youth could become involved with the positive role models. At the same time, building up a sense of pride in the community, we have to start somewhere, and there's a great beginning right there. Currently, we have 5 community gardens in this area. We have Sanders, the Marcellas, Montego Bay, Jamaican, a young man, a family by the name of Louis, and last but not least, one that is like less than 3 blocks away from that area, Lemon Street, is the Boys and Girls Club. It's going to waste because the kids could use help with bringing it back to life. I actually was the branch manager there when the garden became in effect, and we used to grow cabbage. The kids grew cabbage and tomatoes, and parents and everybody came out, and that was a great ordeal for them, along with them cooking it. They enjoyed it. But since then, it's gone down because, for one, there's no kitchen at the Boys and Girls Club, and then there's no one has the time or the patience to actually attend the garden with the kids. So having a garden up in our area, having a garden, yes, in that area, we already have a garden that's in need of support from the community. That would create a family of atmosphere. That's what we need. That's what we're looking for, to get the kids, get them motivated, get the parents motivated. On your packet, you will see what we're trying to present and bring to our community. Our kids, the only thing they hear about the blacks is slavery. They hear about chains, and they hear about whippings. But we want to show them that there was more to our people besides that. They were heroes. They stood on their own 2 feet, and they fought for us. They fought so that we can be here. But a lot of that they don't hear about. Okay, they hear a lot of negative things. With this wall, this is going to represent their fathers, our forefathers. You know, they'll have some place that they can go and just say, you know what, that's my granddaddy right there. You know, and they're proud of that. Mm-hmm. So it's not really a black thing or a white thing. It's the right thing. Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Any questions? I'm sorry.
Yeah, I have a question.
Yes, sir.
There are 5 community gardens now?
Yes, sir.
In that area?
Yes, sir.
And which means that, what does that mean? Does that mean that anybody can go there and take advantage of the soil and grow plants? Is that what you're telling me?
No, what that means is that they already have people that's growing.
But they're community gardens, they're not just personal.
No, they're personal. They're personal, but the prices that they sell the stuff for, it's like they're giving them away. Most of the time, they give them away anyway. I actually have a person here, Mr. Sanders, who has a garden, and his father had the garden first, so his family has continued.
And he's the one that's across from this location.
They're in the area, in the Washington Heights area.
Okay,
Yes, sir.
thank you.
Any more questions?
Yes, ma'am. I see you have, it says you will put on there those have served and or serving in any brand. So you're talking about putting names of men and women that are serving now.
And veterans who have served.
Okay, that's what I'm saying, but they're serving now.
That's gonna be a big list.
As we know, some, I was in the military, some get dishonorable discharges. So what are you gonna do with their name?
What are we gonna do with their name?
Yeah. Would you
Well,
remove it?
What, I wouldn't know if they were dishonorably discharged or not. If they put their name, if they purchased a brick to put their name on the wall, then we're not gonna do a spot check and say,
Okay.
you know, we're not gonna run a background check.
Yes, ma'am.
You know, if they were a veteran, we don't know what the purpose of the dishonorable discharge. You know, it could have been a misunderstanding. We don't know. But if they went there and they fought for our country, then they're considered as a veteran. Okay, whether they was dishonorably discharged or they was discharged, you know. So.
Okay.
Okay. I think we have, come on up to the front and introduce yourself, if you would, please, and any questions that you have for Ms. McGowan.
How you doing?
Good evening.
My name is Staff Sergeant Alfred Duval Welch. I'm a Vietnam veteran. Veterans, whether you was honorably discharged or dishonorably discharged, you still served. If you don't want to recognize the ones that was dishonorably discharged, it's fine by me. I did my portion. We need this because the kids are running rampant. Everyone I can talk to, I try to talk them into finishing school. Go to the military if you're not college material. If you're not college material, go to the military. If you haven't graduated, get a GED. Go to the military. I served honorably. I was featured in Life magazine. I was a tunnel rat for 2 years in Vietnam. They need something positive.
Amen.
In their life. That the hood rat days are gone. It's gone. I'd rather lift them up instead of burying them. We need this. I come from a military family. All the men in my family was military. My father was based right here at Hendricksfield. We need something for our young men and women. Just like she said, half of the time, the people that got the gardens, they're giving away the supplies. They're giving them away. I want to be represented on that wall. I want to be represented there. 57 to 59,000 American soldiers died in that Vietnam War. You understand?
Yes, sir.
By the grace of God and my attribute when it comes to my survival, I made it through. I identified bodies from Avon Park and Lake Placid that was killed over there. We deserve something. We deserve something to pass on to our boys and girls. We don't need that street, that rump shaking, all that. We don't need that. We need positive and constructive. And I stand here this day, I'm willing to contribute all I have within me left. I'm 100% disabled vet. Agent Orange is slowly taking my life, but I'm a fighter and I refuse to give up.
Good for you.
And I refuse to give up on this. Thank you.
You know, even if they're college material, if they can't afford to go to college, they can go in the military and get their college paid
and
for.
get their college paid.
You can encourage kids to do that as well.
That's right.
Because they'll pay 100%.
That's right. They'll pay for you to go.
That's right.
But that's all I have
Well,
to say.
thank you for your service.
You're quite welcome. If I had to do it all over again, I'd do it the same way because I survived.
So would I.
Well, thank you. Any other, come on up and tell us who you are and what you have to say.
I want to apologize for my appearance. I was on the golf course and shouldn't have been out there. How you guys doing? My name is Billy Shannon. I'm president of a health organization.
You act like you're retired or something now.
Yes. I want to say good evening and Happy New Year to everyone. I think both proposals is a great idea. And I think that we have land somewhere for the garden, and we have land somewhere for the memorial. And what I think what we need to do is that after this is over, I think both organizations need to get together along with the council, and we can see if we can find land for either the memorial or the garden. I think it's a great idea. Over in Washington Heights area, and I want to thank you guys for allowing me to do what I did for the Lottie Shannon Community Park. And since that's been there, we have been seeing positive things. And the positive things that we have been seeing is that all of us has been coming together, working together, and trying to get in unity. So with both organizations coming up here, I don't want you to think you guys to feel that they're coming up here, they're being separate, but it's land available, and wherever the land is available at in Washington Heights, I've been walking around, I've been seeing a lot of land available. Let's try to come together and get the memorial, and also let's get the garden, okay? I think that we can do this. You know, I think we can do this, and it's need for both. Even though we do have other individuals in the community that has gardens and everything that they give vegetables away, but I think it's a need for both. And what we want to do, we want to work together on this, on both organizations, and along with the health department. Anytime that we can come together in a decision and get things done where we can utilize land that is over in Washington Heights area, where debris is just being thrown, they're throwing debris on, and it's just laying out there for nothing. I hope that the city, I hope that the city councilman, and I hope that both organizations can come together and see if we can utilize it for something. That's all I want to say on that one.
Well, thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Shannon. I really like your thoughts on this.
Yes.
That instead of doing one or the other, that maybe somehow we can end up getting them both done. I think they are great things.
That's not what we proposed tonight. The proposal is for the property.
Sir, yes, go ahead.
That
Tell us who you are.
Okay, my name is Anthony Powell.
Yes, sir.
I'm a lifelong resident. I wasn't born here, but all my kids was raised here, and I consider this my home.
Yes, sir.
However, we are proposing for the property. What's the zone? We're proposing for this property right here, the parcel S293429. That's what we're proposing for. We're not proposing about finding some other property. We're talking about this tonight.
Okay, yes,
And
sir.
we're willing to, you don't have to give us the property. We'll, whatever the property is worth. He said he'll put some money in it, I'll put some money in it, we'll pay for the property. We want this property. But because the kids need to see veterans, they need a garden. I've seen gardens. I used to cut, someone did a proposal for a garden. I ain't gonna call no names, but I went to cut the motor yard for the garden, and there was never a garden, but they got funds for the garden. I don't know how, I'm just saying. But they never, the garden, they got a Boys and Girls Club, the garden 3 blocks away. If they want a garden, they can, same. Go right around there, help the boys and girls at the garden. They will love somebody. They got all the facilities there, they got all the fertilizers, but they don't, I'm not a garden kind of guy. Okay, but if they wanted a garden, it's right there 3 blocks away. You can get the same results. But we need a veteran memorial on that corner so that we can uplift them kids, because those kids, we're losing our black kids. And that hurts me. And this is serious. I respect it. I have 5 brothers, and 3 of them went to the military. And we all looked up to my brothers from the military. I just have one, he just retired. He's been 40 years in the military. I look up to him. I respect him. All right? I'm not going to respect a garden. It's great to have a garden, but we got gardens. We need this memorial site, and I'm willing to come out of my pocket. He said he's willing to come out of his pocket, and I got a few more vets on my side that say they're willing to come out of their pocket for this site to be located right there. I think it'll bring good morality in that community. That's my feeling.
Excuse me. Okay.
All right, thank you, sir.
Yeah, excuse me.
Mr. Shannon.
I don't know whether you misunderstood me or not, but it's not about fighting about the park. Yeah, I know it's not about fighting about that specific as a memorial, because it's not that who can come out of the pocket, because I can come out of my pocket and pay for it myself. Okay, so it's not about that. What it is, it's about coming up here together, showing that what we do, we need both. We need both. Whether we utilize that parcel as a veteran, or either finding some more land for gardening.
Okay.
And that's the only thing I'm trying to say on that one. I think both proposals is good, and like she said that this is the proposal that she wanted for this garden, and she made a proposal for a garden, and she made a proposal for the veterans. So it's going to be up to you guys. My main thing is saying that we can utilize both.
Okay, thank you. Okay, yes.
First of all I want is a statue for our veterans. Okay, I want it in our area.
I'm
because
sorry, could you speak in the microphone?
I think we deserve to have a memorial statue, a veterans memorial statue. I'm not looking to be in competition with anyone. As far as I'm concerned, I don't feel like we are in competition. We're both on the same page. We both want the same thing. We're looking to beautify our area. So by saying that, I'm saying the garden would be a good idea, but the Veterans Memorial would be a great idea. That's all.
Okay,
Just
thank
want to
you.
go no further. Any questions anymore?
Okay, any other comments from the public, please? Come on up and again, tell us who you are and what you'd have to say.
Megan Tony again with We Can. I just want to let you know that whichever way this goes, if we get it as a garden, if you get it as a memorial, it's fine. But if we get it as a garden, we will make a spot for your memorial within the garden, okay?
And I feel it could go both ways.
Yes,
I feel
so-
it could, if we can both just have the area, we can make the garden and the memorial, and I believe everything would be just as pretty.
Well,
Is
I'm
it
saying
big
that
enough,
right
is it a
now.
big enough piece of
I
property to
don't
do that?
know. I don't know. It just is, this is not what I
It's
would.
a small lot, but if, I just wanted to let you know
Yeah.
that I will make sure that happens for you all too, so.
We can work together. That's the name of it. We can't,
That's all.
if we can't work together here, we can't work together out there in the streets, you know, so that's the way I'm.
Well, I'm going to tell you just a little bit of my thought or comment on it, and I like, from the city's point of view, I like the fact that maybe leasing it might be better, rather than selling it, and that is that does eventually give the city a little bit more control if one or the other projects weren't to come through the way they think they may. So let's say, for instance, the garden, if we lease it to the people with the garden and all of a sudden 6 months down the road, nobody's got an interest, well, the city still owns that property.
There's a clause in
If
the
we
lease.
sell that property though, then we're back to square one. We got a vacant lot, and, you know, with all the good intentions of everybody, and I know that there's good intentions with everybody, then it doesn't come through, the city sold it, we have no recourse. So I like the idea of leasing it rather than selling it. I'll say that. But that being said, council members, any other thoughts and comments on this?
Do we have other lots down there?
The answer to that is yes.
Okay.
There's been a multitude of houses over the years that have been dilapidated there in Washington Heights that we've torn down, and there's certainly lots available.
There's another one right on the other side.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Well,
I feel like the memorial, the location on Lemon Avenue from the memorial is probably more user-friendly. People can see it easier, and it's more, it'll be better for the public. I do like the idea of working with both projects, and I think that we certainly should look for a place for the garden as well. But I would think it would be appropriate to go ahead and let us lease and or sell to the memorial, the Lemon Avenue location.
I agree with Councilman Stewart. I think both projects are probably a good idea. I think the location of this piece of property is better for a memorial. It's downtown. A garden could be off on a side street.
So I'm looking at it, it's not a very big lot. It's
It's
very
not.
difficult. I can't see both being in the one location, really, and being realistic. So,
When you said there was one on the other side, where
yeah.
do you
There's
know?
another lot on the other
Is
side.
it
of
758 right across the street?
It's,
Because it's vacant.
it's
There's
like,
parking.
right, it's like one here and then the
parking lot.
store and then there's another spot right.
I think that's where Mr. Shannon's.
There-
Yeah.
There's two parcels that are parking.
Oh, yeah, okay. That are, what do you mean? What, parking for what?
Parking.
Just parking lots? I'm looking at it now.
Yes.
Oh.
What we're talking about here, this is city public parking.
Mhm.
What's that other figure?
That is it right there?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it's
the
small.
property that's under proposal.
What's the one on this side of that building, that area? Is that ours or not?
No, sir, privately owned, as is that one. About a year, well, not quite 2 years ago now, you may recall, 2 blocks to the south, the city deeded somebody, this lot 6 here, a parcel that they had been maintaining, that at some point got into the city's name, and they said, well, gosh, can we have it? We've been maintaining it, and the city ended up giving it to them, so.
Right.
The city has other parcels. I believe
used for public parking as well, down Martin Luther King. Where'd that one go?
Near the Boys and Girls
Near the
Club.
Boys and Girls,
Yeah, so,
right there.
oh, yeah. That's the Boys and Girls Club? No, that's the Boys and Girls Club.
Correct. This is
Okay.
city-owned,
Mhm.
that is a
Right.
a developed parking lot.
Yeah.
Just as a suggestion, would it be something that we might want to consider going back and seeing what other parcels we have and letting you guys take a look at those from different points of view and see?
Well, actually, just that area is the area that I would like to have.
Yeah, well, that would be the better place for the memorial, Charlie. It's small.
I don't imagine the garden needs that, a prominent of a location. Would that be accurate?
Well, part of the garden thing, though, I think, is also.
Well, let's let her answer.
Okay.
The hope of the garden is to replace something that's kind of desolate, it's just a vacant lot, with something that's positive, that's going to draw people from the community to that area for a positive reason.
Right.
So it's meant to be an interactive place where people can work together on their gardening, where they can grow in community. There'll be seating areas.
Sure.
We have the wall for, the memorial wall for all of those community heroes that we're going to partner with the Highlands County Art League to do murals on, to, spotlight. So it's meant to be kind of a centerpiece of that street to promote growth within the community. So, and that's what I was saying, it might not.
So it's more
look
than
like
just a
the
garden,
same-
yeah, it's more than just a garden, and you want a prominent
focal
location
point.
as well.
Yes. But like I said, we're willing to work together, so.
Small
Thank
piece
you for
of-
that.
Small piece of property. would be
All right.
nice.
Mr. Bishop, any comments?
I think they're both great, but I kind of agree with these two down here. I feel like it's a better place for I want to see the garden happen, I do. But I think this is a really good spot for a memorial.
All right, any further comments from the public? Okay, that being said, we will adjourn the public hearing. And I'm going to ask if there's any actions council would like to take in regards to this. Well, everybody seems to be pausing for a moment here,
Yeah.
so let me
Well,
just make a comment that.
I still think we need
Yeah.
to be able to provide or look for another place. I know what they're saying about the garden. I know they're going to bring people together, but you don't necessarily have to do it on a main street. It can be a block off or whatever
It
for a
could.
garden.
Yeah, but I think part of the thing is, on that main street, people will see others out there working the garden, if in fact they are. I kinda like the one idea about, her saying that they can use the walls around there, or they can still do a wall with some memorials to the veterans, as
She
well
said
as
the
the gardens.
heroes.
Pardon?
She said to the heroes, that could be anybody that's a hero.
Yeah, well,
We would
yeah.
partner with the
Yeah.
city of-
It's
Yeah.
a mighty small parcel of land to try to put both on.
Yeah.
Our hope would be to put the murals around the perimeter for the walls of the garden.
Yeah, and then we could still look for a more proper place, if you will, for, and maybe even a little bit bigger for the Veterans Memorial.
We
But
would rather
come on up,
have it
Mr.
at-
Shannon,
we
and
would
tell us
rather
we're
have it
still
at
under
that
discussion on this.
Okay,
It's not a public hearing at this point, but
Yeah,
nonetheless,
okay.
you're welcome to tell us what you'd like.
Excuse me, I think I was misunderstood. But the reason why I came up for and I spoke about both, because both is a great idea. As you know, I think it's only probably two the people that came up in Washington Heights that is older than I am, and I growed up on Lemon Street.
Yes, sir.
Right there, 432, right down from there. And I seen everything grow on. And right now I'm in the process of writing. I got 362 pages. When I came up, and I'm sorry about Mr. Powell, I don't know whether he misunderstood me. What I want is that when you come down Lemon and Martin Luther King, That is our downtown in Washington Heights. Of course, the reason why I spoke about both is good, but the memorial would be a perfect spot. But I don't want the ideal of them not having a garden, even though we have a garden, because the garden was planned on, as she said, to have different murals and everything. So before we left tonight, I wanted the city councilman to sort of look at and see whether we can find some other land somewhere for the garden, even if they can't adjoin. But seriously, the memorial would be the perfect site because that's like a downtown.
So
But we do have sites, and you don't have to worry about any seating or whatever. The Lottie Shannon Community Park is open for seating. We got parking and everything, you know, and Ada McGowan has our parking spaces on Booker. So once again, I would want the city councilman to agree to both, but understood, as one of the councilmen said, that in that vicinity, and as you look as our downtown area of Washington Heights, the memorial would be a better place for there. But don't allow just the memorial just to be there, and don't go without what she was saying about the garden. That's my point of view.
So, in clarification,
Okay.
you're saying that you
Yes.
would rather have the memorial there?
Yes.
And the garden at some other location?
Yes, you know what I mean. We can find another location. You know, we can find another.
Okay, I have
yeah.
one more question, I guess, for Ms. McGowan there. And I know your proposal was to purchase the land, but would you be interested in leasing the land for $1 a year instead of purchasing
sir.
it? You would be?
I see it. I see it. Yeah. I see a head
That was
back
good.
there.
Okay. Because that again, if something doesn't happen with it, then that still
Right,
gets the
we
city
get it back.
control, and I like that.
Yes, sir.
And it also saves you $999.
Hold on.
So, okay.
Okay, hopefully this is not gonna upset people, but I'd like to make a motion that we do a disposition or disposal of this piece of property for the 759 Lemon Avenue for the Veterans Memorial Site. And I also would like for us to be looking for a location for the garden.
So is that a
And
motion?
lease it
That's
for
a
$1.
Yeah, and lease it for $1 a year.
Yeah, okay. And they would provide insurance?
Yes.
And the attorney will draw it up.
Yeah, well, they'll
Okay, so
have the
that-
attorney draw up all the,
You're welcome.
thank you all for helping me with my motion. It's kind of a hard motion.
Yes, it
but,
is.
We're still writing, yeah.
Okay, so I think both is needed.
Okay, have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
Have a second from Mr. Bishop. We have a motion and a second. Again, it's an opportunity for anyone in the public to speak on behalf of the motion or against it. Any council members, comments, thoughts? Kathy, call for a vote, please.
Bishop,
Yes.
Carlisle,
Yes,
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes. Okay.
thank you.
You got it, and that county attorney will draw up a lease for you, and we'll go from there. And we are going to actively look for, I'm not sure who that "we" is, but.
Yeah. Well, it would be, we
I
would
think
have to
that's
look at the city
administration.
property. And by the way, I grew up on Lemon Street.
You might be just the guy to look for it. then.
Yeah.
Now, seriously though, on behalf of the people with the garden, let's find a spot. Look around and see if you can find a spot, bring it back to us, let us take a look at it, talk with our city administrator,
Well-
and, yes, sir.
I want to mention that on our last city council meeting, we directed staff to find every lot that we own in this community.
Yes, we
So
do.
there is a
Should be a
survey
list.
being made of all the property that we do own, which should help with finding a location for the garden.
It should, and maybe we should prioritize this a little more, because that might take a while.
Well, that's true.
I was in Kathy's office the other day, and there's a stack of cards about this tall of city-owned properties.
Is it?
And it really surprised me.
Yeah.
Now, I know some of them were being utilized, but nonetheless, it's,
Well,
they're-
Kathy has,
We have a
she
list, I
has
have a
all,
list in my office of the properties that we own.
Yeah.
On your free time, Kathy.
I will make note. I'll do whatever council wants me to.
Okay, all right, let's,
Mr. McIntyre, he'll print you out a list.
Oh, there
all
you
right.
go. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll be looking for that tomorrow.
I'll have it to you by the morning.
And that's results.
I love it.
That's the kind of government we need.
That's right.
Yes. Okay, we're gonna now enter into another public hearing. This is, item 10F. Public hearing ordinance 1481 for second and final reading. The introduction of the, ordinance 1481. Mr. Swain.
The ordinance is entitled, "An Ordinance of the City of Sebring, Florida, changing the zoning classification of a 0.07 acre parcel at 610 Martin Luther King Jr. Boulevard." There's a description of the legal description in parentheses, from multiple family district R4 to commercial district C1, providing for severability, providing for conflict, and providing for an effective date.
Okay, Ms. Dana, right.
Good evening. Dana
I'm sorry.
couldn't join us today, but
Yes.
I'm Brenda Torres with the Central Florida Regional Planning Council, and we're here today for the a city proposed rezone of 0.07 acres, and the parcel is going from R4 multiple family district to city C1 commercial district. The owner, James and Wanda Aaron, are the owners of the property, and the applicant is the city of Sebring. The parcel is located at 610 Martin Luther King Boulevard, and as you can see, it is highlighted in yellow for you. The future land use is not changing. It is staying downtown mixed-use redevelopment compatible with the surrounding area. The zoning is, the current zoning is R4. As you can see, there is C1 right next to it, and this parcel actually recently was joined with that larger parcel that you see there that's in red. The proposed zoning would be the C1 commercial district. The property is being proposed to develop a law office, and they want to use that that parcel that we're rezoning for parking and retention for the development of the larger parcel. So it has become one. If you can go to the next slide.
According to that, you had 0.07 acres, but it's 0.70, is that correct? Which is it?
I have here 0.07 acres. Just that section, that part, yeah.
Okay, yeah, because in our in our handout here it's 0.70 acres.
On your packet or on the resolution?
On the packet, yeah.
On this part of it, it
Yeah.
says .70.
Okay.
Everything else that I have seen said .07.
Yeah, it's 0.07.
0.07,
So we can make
okay.
that edit to that should be in the resolution. So you can just make that comment to
Okay.
make sure that it's 0.07.
Seems awfully small.
Yeah, it does.
Seems
yeah.
like minute.
I think it's a
It's-
5,500-foot lot.
Yeah, something's wrong with that.
It's probably 0.7.
Is it?
0.07 acres has got to be like,
That's
Zoom.
7,100.
I can verify.
.07 too.
What does it say?
.07 is in the resolution, and that's how it was
Okay,
read
then
last
it's
time.
probably, yes. Then it was probably an error in the presentation.
Okay.
So,
So is it .07 or .7?
0.70.
.70, this says .07.
Well, your resolution does?
0.07 is just under a tenth of an acre.
Yeah.
0.7 is 3/4 of an acre.
But it was read at .07 last time was my point.
Okay.
so we have
I
to
would have to
So I don't
confirm
know.
that.
Yeah. Well, we need to know how much it is
well,
for
we need to
sure.
get this right.
Yeah.
It's a 40 by 80 lot,
40 by 80.
40 feet by 80 foot lot.
320, so that would be more 0.07.
3,200 square feet,
Yeah, that's more like 0.07.
43,560.
43,560, yeah. Okay.
So it is?
0.07.
0.07.
It's 0.7346189116 acres.
Yeah, because even the it is correct.
0.07 is correct.
This is right.
Yeah, the map,
Okay.
usually
That's what it is.
GIS does our maps and
Good for
it
you,
says
man.
0.07, so
Okay.
it's correct.
I do this
The
every
agenda
day.
item
guess you
that's
do.
incorrect. Okay. Everything else
Just
is
so that we got it clarified. Thank you.
Okay. Any other
Times
questions?
40 by 80 and divide by 43,560.
Okay, any questions from the public in regards to this? This is a public hearing, so if you have any questions or comments, please come up and address us about them. Any comments or questions from council members?
Yep.
Nope. Okay. No, we will adjourn our public hearing. And request a motion.
I make a motion, we approve ordinance 1481 on second and final reading as presented of the .70.
07.
07. Excuse me.
Yeah. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second on .07 acres. Any comments from the public? Comments or questions from council members? Kathy, would you call for a vote, please?
Bishop.
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lance.
Yes. Okay, that's it for the public hearings. We're now going to move on to 10G, bid okay acceptance for interconnection of CRF Sebring Mobile Home Park LLC, budget resolution number 2022-01, budget amendment number 45, Mr. Bogus.
That's a mouthful, isn't it, Charlie? Good evening, council. Almost a year ago today, staff presented to council a development agreement with CRF Sebring Mobile Home Park LLC. And this agreement basically obligated the city to provide water and sewer service to a new mobile home community. Council also approved a proposal at the same time, a proposal from Poston Engineering to do the engineering and prepare bid-ready specs to bid the job. We've had the bid opening. That happened on the 21st of last month, and the bids did come in considerably higher than our engineering estimates were. So we've gone back to the developer to see if he's willing to ante up any additional money. And as of this moment, I can't confirm that they are, but they are certainly considering it. So there are two remaining items that need to be taken care of too, I believe. One is we don't have a declaration of covenant yet, but they've indicated just today that they don't see any problem getting that back to us. In fact, they thought they'd get it back to us today, but as of about 5:15 when I left the office, still had not received it. But the developer doesn't see a problem with that. A little more concerning problem is we don't have an easement that we need to construct this pipeline. It's a very small section of the project, but nevertheless, we need that easement before we can actually construct the entire route. Again, the developer doesn't seem to think there's a problem. He has a very good working rapport with the owner of the property, and he feels that he can get that easement for us within a 6 to 8 week period, and that's just an estimate. But he thinks that's very doable. I have also spoken to the contractor who submitted the low bid. There's also about an 8-week lag on getting the pipe. So he doesn't see a problem with us having to wait for the easement. Can't do anything anyway until he gets the materials in. So it doesn't appear that he has any concerns, as long as it doesn't drag out much more than that. So I think we would like to go ahead and proceed with the project if council's willing. Probably should have mentioned this before. This agreement that we approved last year also obligates the developer to split the cost 50-50 up to a maximum of $200,000 towards the construction cost. At the time we came up with the agreement, we really thought that the construction would be around $350,000, not the 500 and I've kind of lost my sign. But anyway, like I said, it came in much higher than we originally had anticipated. So if the developer does not ante up the difference, then the city is going to cost the city more than we thought it would. So about $176,000 more.
Yep.
What's the return on our investment?
Well, Mark, this mobile home park itself is the only thing that we know right up is going to hook to it. Right. It's approximately a 237 lot park. They've kind of modified their plans somewhat. They are going to have an RV section in this park as well, but they're still trying to get permitted. And I think the permitting is one of the reasons why they haven't done anything. I mean, I went out yesterday to look at the property, and nothing, you can't tell anything's going on. I spoke to the contractor who's been hired to do the infrastructure work within the park, and he said it's going to be about an $8 million project, which he thinks will take about a year to complete. So we get our line built, there won't be anything going through it probably until maybe a year. Now, there is property right across the street that's also for sale that Chip Boring is marketing.
Mhm.
And on his sign, for sale sign, he's got pretty big signs saying city water available.
Right.
The water's already there, it's the sewer that we're having to
Right.
build.
Can we say that somebody buys that property, Chip's property, can we assess a portion of this construction to that property?
Well, Scott and I talked a little bit about that, Mayor, and this extra, if the developer comes back and says, we really can't afford to chip in any more than the 200 they've already committed to, I think this will require some authority from council, but we could add something that we've done in the past, and that's put an aid to construction on a particular project. We have an extra aid to construction cost for many areas that we serve with water. Lake Haven Estates is one, Sebring Hills is another one. There's just all over the place where Sebring Country Estates is another one that we've actually taken the cost of infrastructure and divided it up over the potential homeowners or homes that could be built out there. So we could look at it some way like that to recover this additional cost if council's wanting to do it that way.
So let me ask you what you recommend personally.
I personally recommend we go ahead and do it because I think all this property is prime development, and the faster we can get it in, probably the better off we are. Right now, there's no other infrastructure in there, underground infrastructure.
Right.
So we've got clear path all the way through there. If
Should
we
not wait for the easement to get confirmed? I mean, to me, that's the one thing that kind of scares me a little bit.
Well, it scares me too, Mark, to a point. And it's best guess, really. The developer thinks that he can get the owner to get it done. And I think Bob is already working on the easement document right now. So if we can get that to him within the next couple of days.
So do you feel confident?
The only hang-up is the owner of that property is not part of this development, so it's not like getting it from the developer. That I'm not worried about.
It's a separate entity.
It's a separate entity. The developer tells us that the developer has this particular parcel under contract as an option to purchase along with some other property that's owned.
Okay, the parcel with the easement.
That we
on
need
it.
the easement over. The other alternative, so sort of in your mind's eye, you're going north on the parkway from the roundabout. Instead of going just before you get to Beacon Avenue and turn east, this is gonna cut across what would be small triangle parcel and then cross Beacon to the developed property.
Yeah.
If we don't have an easement, the line can be re-engineered to stay in the right-of-way and make the curve with Beacon Avenue and arrive at the same spot, albeit at a higher
Another
cost.
100,000.
No doubt. But that, certainly we can look at the developer who had the idea of running it up the exact location where Paulson Engineering has designed it and say, listen, your route doesn't work if you can't get us that easement. We gotta go this other way, and it's on you if you want us to do that.
What would be the downside of trying to get that easement over the next week or two and come back 2 weeks from now at council meeting?
That's certainly an option, I think. The contractor is wanting to get started as soon as possible, but he knows he can't get material for, he thinks, 8 weeks. So I don't really think
so
that's.
we have a couple months, no matter
I
what.
think we have some time.
Maybe this time frame will help the developer come up with a few more dollars.
Very possible.
The only downside of that is with the economy like it is, I'm sure the developer go underground probably needs to order the material because of cost. It could go up to
How long is this price good for, I guess, is what?
30 days.
30 days. So we're okay to make it till the next council meeting. I would
Okay,
suggest that we
well,
do that.
as long as we got 30 days.
And,
Penny,
and
you can
see if he can't get that easement, and also see if we can't have him pay 50% of the cost, which is, this is a big cost. And, you know, splitting it between us and them. And this is a big project, so it's
Yes,
not
it
like
is.
it's, you know, a little tiny project where you can't afford an extra 75,000 or whatever that comes out to
Yeah,
be.
it's, well, 63,000 is what I threw at him, but. you know.
Okay.
And I didn't get it wasn't a definite no.
Right.
It's just everything is, as he's run into increased cost on everything he's looking at doing too.
Everybody's
so-
running on
Sure.
increased costs. That's the reason I was saying something
Yeah,
about.
but I would also say, and take back to him, that costs are increasing, but the sale of his properties are gonna increase too. Because houses is going up like crazy right now. So, and that also goes for mobile homes. He can probably get 20% more for his mobile homes in a year than he can right now. So he's got something to offset that. We're not gonna be raising taxes 20% next year. We don't have that same option. So, at least I sure hope
We know
we're
you'd
not.
like to, Charlie. We're not gonna let you.
No, I don't want to.
I can
I
tell
would
you.
like to keep them all the same, or just
I
at the
know.
inflation rate.
That was kind of a
You know,
joke.
but we do need to keep up with inflation. I didn't hear part of that, so. At any rate, but that's what I would suggest that we do.
So you wanna kinda table it till next?
Table it for a
Okay.
couple weeks and see if he'll come up with some money, and then also get that easement.
Okay, so
the
what I'm
declaration.
hearing, I think you're saying is try to get a commitment on the additional money that we need to offset this unexpected
Yeah.
cost increase, and also get the easement in hand.
Right.
Yes.
Also the declaration of covenant, which
Exactly.
we should have
Yeah.
maybe that tomorrow,
Yeah.
but, okay.
And we can, and bring it back to council in 2 weeks.
And if we, for some reason, we can't get the easement during that time, I think then we're looking at a rebid type of situation.
Well, we'll have another conversation.
Yeah.
We'll
Okay.
we'll see what happens.
Okay.
Next meeting.
All right. Well, sounds like a plan.
Thank you.
All right.
All right, sir. Thank you.
Mr.
Don.
Do we need a motion?
No.
Okay.
We'll just put it on the next agenda, we don't have to
Yeah.
table it.
Okay.
No, ma'am.
Just put it on the next agenda.
Okay. That's,
January 18th.
do we have any business from the audience?
No, sir.
Okay. City attorney's business.
You're also, rollover resolution, proposed resolution 2022-01 and budget amendment 45. You're gonna roll all that over?
I was gonna roll it all over to the next agenda, yes, sir, till the 18th. Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay.
Nothing further, sir.
Okay. City administrator's business.
None.
Okay, and I just
He's
want
not
to,
here.
She is though.
Since he's not here.
nothing.
No, sir.
This is your chance.
My chance?
Blow your horn.
Okay, I do want to just bring up the fact that we are missing our city administrator tonight, and I hope that he will
Gets
be able
well.
to make it back for our next meeting, and we'll wish him the best. So, city clerk's business.
One announcement before I do the bills. The HPC meeting was supposed to be on January 13th. That meeting has been canceled, and it is now January the 12th at 8:30 a.m. here in the council chambers. We'll put out a notice to everybody, but just publicly announce the change in that meeting for that meeting also only in January.
I can't be there, Kathy.
You cannot?
No. I have a previous commitment.
Okay. You okay with us
Yeah,
going forward? Okay.
sure.
Okay. Council needs to approve the paying of the bills, please.
So move.
Second.
Okay. Motion and a second. Any further comments? Okay. Kathy, call the roll.
Bishop.
Yes.
Carlisle.
Yes.
Stewart.
Yes.
Lawrence.
Yes. And one